All right. Did you want to do state of play first, since that's kind of the big,
Sure.
and then do
Yeah,
that?
why
Okay.
not?
So let's do it. So, PlayStation State of Play 2024. They had their big showing. Announced a lot of games. Trailers for a lot of games came out. Some big games had a bunch of trailers people were pretty psyched and hype about. Would you say kind of the big one is Death Stranding too? That's probably
Yeah,
the biggest one.
that might be the big. I mean, it's exclusive. It's AAA. It's definitely up there. I think Judas is also probably maybe that's second as far as being big important because it's the Bioshock. It's the Bioshock doing it.
Kojima Productions here, Hideo Kojima and all his weirdness. I didn't play the first Death Stranding game. You did though.
Yeah, yeah. I played it all the way through. I like 100%ed it.
Okay, so you were a fan of it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. And like, here's the thing: it's not a game I would recommend to most people. It's it's very weird. It's very slow. It's like existential. It's like if you were gonna watch something like 2001: A Space Odyssey, but for like 100 hours. It's just super not gonna be for everybody. And I would, if anybody told me they tried it and really didn't like it, I would 100% understand why they felt. So it's I think it is really good if you're willing to go along with something kind of experimental and different. But like if you bounce off of it, like I really do get why.
Okay, so here with this trailer, so this is Death Stranding 2 on the beach, that you have here. And then as you see at the beginning of the trailer, as Hideo Kojima sometimes likes to do, including celebrity cameos, in his game. And then so you see at the beginning, it's the director George Miller, who directed the Mad Max, franchise. And then you also
Yeah.
have this actress who I remember she was in the Bond movie. She was in the later Bond movies, No
Leah
Time.
Seydoux, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
She was in the first one as a pretty major character as well.
Okay, and this also is famous for having Norman Reedus, who people know as Daryl
Yeah.
Dixon on the Walking Dead. So yeah, and him and Hideo Kojima, don't they have like kind of like a bromance going on, kind of?
It seems like it. It started with Kojima was going to do a Silent Hill game, and then that ended up not happening. But Norman Reedus was supposed to star in that, and then when he went and did his own game studio, it just kind of carried over.
Okay,
He also in
so
the first game, Guillermo del Toro and Nicholas Winding Refn are like major significant characters in the story as well.
oh yeah, I do remember that Guillermo del Toro. Yeah, yeah. So, what do you make of this Death Stranding too?
Well, like a lot of the trailers for Hideo Kojima games, it's hard to make a lot of specifics with it. And this one's a little less abstract than the first game's trailers. Um,
And I know people
it
were memeing like she's
oh
got this like little puppet on there.
yeah, I
On
don't know what's going on there. It kind of looks like Alan Wake, but in like 10 frames per second.
yeah, yeah, that is.
He's got like a different yeah, he's got like an actual stop motion animated frame rate going on there. It's hard to know exactly what they're going to do with all these. I mean, the first Death Stranding game, I honestly don't think made any sense until it came out. Like, not a single piece of marketing was really clear about what was going on, and I kind of expect this one to be the same.
Okay. Yeah, and, uh, I think you could probably better describe, so what is the premise of Death Stranding pretty much?
So the first game, so I'll try and describe it in as like simple or sensical a way as I can, but it's post-apocalyptic. It's almost like a more dramatic take on something like the Postman, um, because you literally are like a deliverer. You are it's literally the world's ended, and only people that really go outside anymore are people that deliver packages, and everybody else is like hunkered down in these like underground bunkers. But the apocalypse they do in this is interesting. It's basically like some sort of like eldritch dimensional gateway to like the afterlife opened up at some point in the past, like
Mm,
ripped open reality, and so there's like ghosts everywhere above ground, and You have to, let me just grab this for the sake of a demonstration here. You have to have one of these babies that you plug a mechanical umbilical cord in, and then the baby can see the ghost. Um,
Mm.
and then that's how you figure out where the ghosts are, and then you have to throw grenades made of your own blood at the ghosts. It's basically the
Okay.
game. But you are the goal ultimately is you're connecting the United States across like a kind of like an internet, right? Like a new internet that they're developing. Which by the end of the first game you've kind of reassembled at least some semblance of society. And then the one plot detail that I can confidently glean from this trailer for the second game is that we are now going abroad to uh, other countries, other land masses to try and connect it to that network and just bring more society.
Mm. Okay. And I think I did hear one of the complaints of the game. It's like it's kind of a little bit of a giant fetch quest in a sense. Maybe was that kind of maybe a little bit of.
Mm, I don't know. It's interesting. It's honestly and it's kind of just a different game than like any other game. Like it really is like it's almost like one of those simulator games, right? Like it's like a delivery man simulator, and occasionally you have to fight like a ghost.
Oh,
It really, you could look at it as a fetch quest, certainly. It's not inaccurate, but it's the systems that are oriented around it, I think, make it interesting. There's like this existential kind of loneliness. It's a game that came out right before the pandemic, and everybody was like, "This is ridiculous. Only delivery people are going outside. Everybody's staying in their homes. This is outlandish. This doesn't make any sense." And then like a year later, it was like, "Oh, that game actually hits harder now."
mm, okay. So back a little bit more to this trailer. So this is a scene that a lot of people were talking about, kind of what happened here.
Yeah, I figured you'd pay this place a visit, seeing as how I've been
You
distributing
fighting apparently
troops from
Alice
this
Cooper
fine factory
here.
all over the
Yep,
continent.
Troy Baker again
Guns
there.
and violence, the whole damn world could be yours. Same as it ever was. Oh, looks like you decided to trade in that rope for a stick this go round.
And Troy Baker, big
Oh, I suppose no porters
voice
can
actor
pull
here
the
for
trigger
video
from
games
time to
and
time.
basically all your major video games. He Last of Us.
Oh, what about
He's
you?
gonna be Indiana Jones.
Hey,
You,
buddy,
Bioshock
maybe
Infinite
just
was him
another
too.
soulless little husk, huh?
Let go of me.
you know who's doing the voice for the little
I
husk?
don't actually. I was trying to
Where's the rest
to
of your
pick up
band?
it, but I couldn't. I couldn't tell. And that's the thing I got right here.
So are like babies kind of like a precious resource here, like fetuses? Are they kind of like a?
Yeah, it's. I mean, there's it's Hideo Kojima's just bizarre explanation of it is that it's like they're babies who were like in the mother's womb when the mother died, which created like a supernatural umbilical cord to like the realm of death. So then they put them in these little tanks and artificially kind of create a womb, and as long as they stay in there, they can like tell you where the ghosts are. It's weird. I probably sound like a crazy person even trying to describe it,
I mean, it's no
but
weirder than this. I mean, this dude just.
yeah.
I mean, electric
And he was
guitar.
like a major villain of the first game too. He basically was like the henchman of this like eldritch god that was trying to like finish off the human race. And now he's got a guitar, that was not in the first game. He looks completely different. And I will say, it's the only game I've ever, at least that I know of, where that's actually Troy Baker's face. Normally, he provides the voice for like a unique character model or a character that's based on someone else's face, but it's like the one time they actually use Troy Baker's face for the character.
Hmm, okay. All right. Um. Yeah. I mean, it's weird as all Kojima games usually are, and it's interesting as all Kojima games are. So does that mean that he's got kind of 3 now that people are looking forward to because he's got this one. Then he's also
Mhm.
got the spy game, which we're going to be getting into that he also announced here at State of Play. And then he's also got that other game that was announced at what was
Yeah, Overdose.
yeah, Overdose there that he's also got. So he's got 3 games there. That's I don't know. I usually Kojima's usually just 1, but he's got 3 on his plate now.
He did make it sound like the spy game he's going to be doing won't actually start until this comes out. So I think he's maybe announcing it a little ahead of time. Like that whatever that spy game is people are talking about it like it might be like a PlayStation 6 game at this point.
Okay. And this actress here, I think I've seen her before.
Was that Elle Fanning, I think.
Oh, okay. Elle Fanning. Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. Dakota Fanning's sister there. She's been having a nice acting career there. Okay. So there's a supernatural element to this. Is science fiction supernatural element.
It's kind of both. It's kind of both. It's yeah. Like I said, it's like there's ghosts and like an eldritch kind of god being, like interdimensional, like eldritch god. It's one of those where I think no trailer is ever really going to give you enough context to understand it. It's like trying to describe a fever dream anime.
Mm, okay. And is there just says 2025. That's it, which is pretty soon. That's I mean, considering Kojima, that's actually pretty soon there, 2025.
Yeah,
Um,
the first Death Stranding game was announced in like 2014 or 2020, sorry, no, 20 like 16, 2017, something like that. It didn't come out until like 2020, 21 or something like that. I might be a little off on that, but
and because I don't think I think I do remember seeing the first Death Stranding trailer, but I don't remember much from it. This is the very first one here. Mads, I think actually, you know what, Mads Mikkelsen, I think is his real boyfriend, Hideo Kojima. I think they really like. I said
yeah.
Norman Reedus, but I think it's really Mads Mikkelsen. I think. But yeah, you have that here. So this is the first trailer here for Death Stranding, the first game. Hmm,
And that's Troy Baker with the gold mask too. That's sure.
okay. Hmm. Okay. And Matt Mikkelsen character, he died in the first one.
Technically he was never alive.
Okay.
It's one of again, it's one of those things where uh he's so there's so much of the game is this like delivery man simulator kind of thing, and then there's these parts where you're fighting ghosts, but then there's also like, and I think there's only like 4 of them in the whole game, and it's World War I, World War II, Vietnam. I forget what the last one is. Maybe it's just 3. But there's like these couple of sequences where you get like sucked into a black hole and you end up in like a hell version of like a World War I battlefield or a
That's
World
pretty
War II
cool.
battlefield.
Like this.
And yeah, those are like the big like ghost monster things. And they're like it's like tar. It's like a sea of tar like fills up the area, and and you have to like it's like you have like grenades that are made of your own blood, and you can't carry around normal guns because if anybody dies, and this is another big thing in the game, if anybody dies in this universe, their spirit will turn into one of these monsters and will like create like a miniature black hole and like destroy like a giant portion of the environment,
Mm,
which will happen since it's an open world game. It will actually like permanently destroy that part of the environment for the rest of your playthrough if you let it happen.
wow. So what happens? You just keep killing people, and then more of the environment just keeps getting destroyed. Like game just.
I feel like you might be able to break the game, honestly, by like if you keep doing it, you might be able to like soft lock yourself.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Death Stranding 2, 2025.
It's gonna be weird.
As always. Since we're talking about Kojima anyway, he did make an announcement of a new game that he's working on, more of a back to his roots, doing more of a spy type of adventure here. Silent is how you say it. Is that the kind of how you say the title there?
Oh yeah, I think that's right. It's just a code project name. Like I doubt we get a real title for a couple of years, honestly. But
Okay.
that's what. Oh.
All right. So he's Hideo Kojima returns to the action espionage genre. Here we go.
With me today is visionary game creator and founder of Kojima Productions, Kojima-san. Hi, welcome. Today, I'm excited to announce that together, as part of the PlayStation and Kojima Productions partnership, Hideo is going to take us on an exciting new adventure. One that I've been encouraging him to reinvent for years.
はい、全く新しいオリジナルの IP になります。新世代のアクションエスピオナー
I
ジゲ
like
ーム。
that fit, by the way. I like the collar. I like the jacket. You know, he wears a lot of black. He likes black a lot. Yeah, I kind of like that. Very good on him.
準備を始めてます
Got
け
the
ど
drip.
も、デストランディング2の後に本格的に小島プロダクションで制作にかかります。ソニーさんとは、ほぼ30年にわたりエスピオナージものを一緒に育ててきたという強い経験もあります。またソニーさん
I
は
like how that guy's just standing there like I have no idea what the fuck he's saying. I'm just gonna smile and like, okay, yeah, awesome. Oh, yeah, that's great, man. Like I have no idea what he's saying.
だけではなく音楽も映画もされています。間違いなく強力なコラボレーションになるはずです。さらに2年後には僕の、ゲーム制作人生の40周年を迎えます。このタイトルが、僕の集大成の作品になると確信をしています。
A new
So, what do you take his words to mean by that? It's a culmination of all his work, you know, over 40 years. How do you interpret that?
Well, certainly him returning to the espionage genre, that's definitely part of that. I think based on how that video ends, there's like a zoom out and he's on the like Warner Bros. Studio, or sorry, Sony studio lot. He and you could tell from his games he's always wanted to do movies as well, and the way he described it, it sounds like he's trying to have some more integrated experience mixing the two together, which I will say Remedy kind of beat him to it already with Alan Wake. But I still believe he'll do something weird and unique with it because he always does something, for good or bad. It's always weird and unique. Yeah. I think returning to his roots as far as video games go, but also leaning into the like Hollywood of his style, maybe just a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back here. Let's finish this up.
action espionage game by Hideo Kojima. This is one of my favorite genres, one that I've been hoping you would revisit with a bold new vision. Can you share anything else about this new development?
ですね、まだ詳しくは言えませんけども、最先端のテクノロジーと、世界中の才能を集結して作る予定です。もちろんインタラクティブなゲームなんですけども、ルック、物語、テーマ、キャスト、演技、
So it's an interactive game, but a movie at the same time. So are we looking at something also kind of like Until Dawn? Is that what he kind of like something like that?
Maybe it's hard to parse his words. I mean, when they first announced Death Stranding and it was like the super cryptic teaser and couldn't really figure out anything about it, when people asked him what it was, he was like, "It's a rope game. Games use sticks, but I'm gonna make a game where we use ropes to like help each other, man." Like sometimes it's hard to really figure out what he's actually trying to tell you.
Okay.
ファッション、サウンド、どれをとっても、同時に映画でもあるようなものです。本作で、映画とゲームの壁を越えたいと思っています。
So I hope to
We're all
transcend the
really
barriers
excited about
between
this
film
project,
and
and we
video
will
games.
fully support you
Okay.
with the latest innovation Sony has to offer. More details to come.
Stay tuned.
Okay. And he said this is mentioning a big pull out to the Sony Pictures lot here. Okay. All right.
My prediction is he wants to do something similar to what Remedy did in the most recent Alan Wake game, but on like a AAA, height of game budget kind of thing. Because Alan Wake has all these live action cutscenes where it seamlessly transitions between these full sequences of live action actors and then gameplay, and then there's this very high quality film element to that. I feel like it's probably similar to that, but again, sometimes it can be hard to parse exactly what he wants to do because he'll describe things in such an abstract and strange ways.
Mm. Okay. Yeah. Sign it. That's what it is called. Um, Again, I mean, we got 3 Kojima projects coming here. See what it's kinda all gonna delve into, what it's kinda gonna be like. Like you said, he talks about things kind of in a vague, abstract type way. So who knows what we're gonna get from any of those projects too much, there. I mean, I think Death Stranding, you probably have a good idea since there already was another Death Strand, so you probably already have a good idea what's coming there. But with OD and then with, this new one here, it's just like, okay. Sure, it's, like I said, culmination of all his work. It's gonna transcend video games and film, what that means. And then I brought up the comparison of, Until Dawn, which a trailer for a new remaster of Until Dawn also came out during the state of play, which we can get into right now. Have you ever played Until Dawn?
Yeah, I'm a big fan actually.
Okay, I have not myself, but um, this game also is one of those things that brings in celebrity talent to come and play these roles. You had Rami Malek, you had Hayden Panettiere, you had I think also Brenda Song was also in this, I believe.
Brenda Song is in The Quarry, which is another game from
Oh,
this company. That's a little more recent, but she was in that one.
okay, the Corey. Okay, so that's different. So what do you think
Peter
about this?
Stormare is also in this.
Yeah,
That's the voice you're hearing.
yeah, Peter Stormare, who always plays the European villain guy. I mean, he was also the villain in John Wick movies. He always plays
Yeah.
the villain. So yeah, and they're doing a movie. They're doing a live action movie of Until Dawn. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know how that's gonna work. How it's gonna be any different from a lot of horror movies that we have here. I think it being a video game kind of makes it more interesting. You know, the horror movie kind of concept. But let's see how they do it movie
Yeah.
wise.
Yeah, I don't think it translates that way, to be honest.
Yeah, and I said maybe if you're doing a movie of Until Dawn, maybe if you did it like how Netflix had, what was that, Bandersnatch? Maybe if you did it maybe like that, which had, like, Will Poulter in it, if you did something like that.
Mhm.
So yeah, what do you thoughts? Until Dawn
Yeah, I mean,
remastered.
it's a game I'm a big fan of. I think graphically this remaster looks great. I imagine it's not going to be too different outside of that. I mean, there could be a surprise, and they could be adding some new content or some story chapters that weren't in there before. But even just as a graphical upgrade, I mean, I'm in. I'm totally in for this. I was a really big fan. It was kind of it came out back in 2015 now. It
Yep,
was kind of a
2015.
sleeper hit. It was one of those where it had very little marketing and it came out and it just kind of blew up. It was very little fanfare ahead of time. And it's it's a choice based narrative. That's part of why I don't really feel like it'll translate well into a movie. Like you said, maybe if you could actually pick options while you're watching. But you got 8 playable characters. You switch between all of them. Mandatory throughout the game, and you could end that game with all 8 of them dead, none of them dead, or any combination of them dead or alive. So it lends this really nice like replay value where like you'd have like a different cast by the end of it every time you play, or at least a couple of times for sure.
Yeah.
It also is part of why this studio's made a number of games since, and I don't think any of them have quite managed to capture the same creativity. And part of that's because there's also a little bit of that Scream cabin in the woods kind of humor in this as well, which I don't know if the trailer really conveys that very well. But when you play the full game, it's actually pretty funny, and they mess around with tropes and expectations in some really clever ways.
Yeah. So what about who did you have survive and who did you have live when you played it? I
Oh,
mean,
on my
die.
first playthrough, I think I had everybody but the jock in the Letterman jacket. I think everybody but the jock lived.
Damn, black guy didn't make it through it, man. Your playthrough, man.
I I'm telling you, they go out of their way to make him like okay, I swear to have him live, you have to not give someone else a flare gun so that he has it to defend himself at a particular point in time. So if you're like, oh hey, yeah, firing off a flare is a great idea, he's dead.
Mm. Yeah, I'm interested to check it out. I mean, I saw the game, but I'm not. I don't know if I'm big into like these type of games, really myself. But it did look interesting. It's a fun game to watch probably people play. Like if you stream there
Oh,
and
totally.
and watch people kind of make the choices and decisions. That's kind of fun to watch people kind of play it there.
Or
Um,
even if you have like a group of people, y'all could pick a character and pass the controller around whenever it switches.
Yeah, you could also do that. Yeah, too. Do you think they're doing the remaster? You think it's kind of to coordinate with the release of the movie? You think?
I think probably. I honestly, I think the game's probably going to boost the movie more than the movie's going to boost the game.
Yeah. And so by the time it comes out in 2025, this game with the remaster, it'll be 10 years since it'll be the 10th anniversary of it. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
which honestly, I think the game has aged pretty well. You know, I might be looking a little long in the tooth now, but I think it's aged quite well. A lot of the animations are pretty high quality. Um, Biggest thing is probably just like the frame rate. I think could get really bogged down and slow in the original during high like action or big chase sequences at times. But I hopefully that's all solved.
And the movie's going to be directed by David F. Sandberg. He did Lights Out. He did Shazam. He did both the
Uh,
Shazam movies, and then he did Annabelle Creation. That's
was
his.
that the
That's
second Annabelle?
yes, which I hear people like.
Okay.
I think people
Yeah,
like that one.
I thought the second one was all right. I hated the first one, but that second one was all right.
Yeah, so that's his resume. So that's coming. I think there isn't any release for the movie. I don't think. But yeah. The Corey like just the same pretty much as Until Dawn? Do I need to play the Corey if or
I, I was a little disappointed with that one. I thought it was okay. It's a lot more conventional. You know, like the Until Dawn. Like I said, I think it's got a bit of that Scream or Cabin in the Woods element where it really plays around with tropes in I think really clever ways. And like it as a big horror fan, it actually managed to surprise me with some of what it does with its plot. The Quarry, I thought was that just kind of felt like a horror movie done in a video game rather
Mm,
than like a really interesting original horror story. It's all right. It's all right. If you're only gonna play one, play Until Dawn.
okay. And you see Ted Raimi, he's there. Yeah, this is Brenda Song. It's got that guy from what's his? I forgot his name. I think his name is Justice Jackson. I think
Yeah, Justice Smith.
Justice Smith.
Almost.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in like Dungeons and
and I
Dragons.
think what's that older one? This the Brenda song is in this one, and
Yeah.
then what's was it Shay Lynn Shay? That's the woman that's in like every Insidious movie.
Oh, her. Oh, the medium. She's in this. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, she pops up in here as well.
Okay. I don't think I saw her yet. Maybe I missed her. Okay. All right. So this is just your traditional horror movie type thing here. No real big
Yeah,
stuff.
it's just a less. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it does anything like super unique. I think the dialogue is a lot more stilted, a little more wooden. I think the cast just had more to work with in the first one.
Mm, okay. All right. So we're gonna move on to the next trailer, and that is gonna be Rise of the Ronin. Was another big trailer that got shown over at State of Play. Um, I'm gonna pull up the trailer right here. Let's do this one. Good old Rise of the Ronin here. And a lot of the trailers are showing, they're showing gameplay with this. It's awesome gameplay there. It looks like there with Rise of the Ronin, you're seeing some good gameplay. Yeah. Have you seen this? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I know. I remember seeing the announcement
Damn, he just
sometime
bulldozed
last
over that
year.
woman. Damn, fuck. Jeez.
I think this looks pretty cool. I mean, you know, I was a fan of Assassin's Creed, you know, before they made 8 billion of them, and I think this feels like what you would have maybe wanted Assassin's Creed to do, where it actually feels different and not just the same game over and over again. Cool historical setting. This takes place in, I believe, the late 1800s, which is in real life this interesting historical period where and this Navy officer, which was funny enough named Matthew Perry, uh, brought all these ships over, and they basically created this like artificial floating like American kind of shanty town off the coast of Japan. So this game takes place in an interesting environment where you can, wander around feudal Japan, go over a bridge, and go into like a 1800s kind of American town. So you'll see things like muskets pop up here and there, and like little bits of difference. So there's an
that
interesting culture clash to this
is a
environment.
human being or is this a monster? I think it's just a human
I,
being.
that I wasn't sure about. I mean, there are weapons that are clawed like that. That is a real thing. But I wasn't sure if it was totally historical or if it was trying to do a little bit of a mythology. I think it's definitely inspired by Ghost of Tsushima for sure, though.
Getting into Once Upon a Time in Hollywood bag here, just burning people alive. That's always cool. Doing that.
Yeah, nice flamethrower there.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like a Ghost of Tsushima, a little bit of that Assassin's Creed historical thing, but it's this is or sorry, Team Ninja,
Yep.
which they did a game called Wolong Fallen Dynasty, which was a Chinese mythology game that was kind of interesting. That came out last year, and then I believe they were also responsible for the Devil May Cry reboot that happened in like 2012 or so.
Was that wasn't like no, that wasn't like the newest one, right? That was the one with the kid.
Yeah, it was like a younger Dante. It was meant to be like a reboot, but
Yeah.
and I thought it was an all right game, but it was like very, very like fan backlash. How dare you change his hair color, kind of thing. And so then the one that most recently came out was proper sequel to the games.
Okay. So yeah, this is basically like it's what people have been asking from Assassin's Creed to finally make an Assassin's Creed game in Japan, in feudal Japan.
Yeah,
Oh, people have been asking for, so somebody finally just jumped on it. Um, I like I like some of the aspects here. I like the transition here, like kind of going around the city. Like you see the opening here, him kind of like Batman grappling to a roof, jumping off the roof, then going into like a glide type thing. I like that a lot.
full
That looks
mobility stuff for sure.
yeah, so that's looking really cool. Like you can have those wings that just kind of pop out like that. Like that looks really nice. And then you see the scene where he just immediately, while he's gliding, just can I guess call a horse and then boom, just get on the horse. There, like you see right there, it's like boom, just right on the horse. So that's nice. Um, Combat style seems to be very similar. You see in kind of other samurai, kind of you mentioned Ghost of Tsushima, kind of counter type aspect there with a lot of these games, and then kind of attack. What do you
You
think
can
about
also see in the corner there's like stances and stuff, which is like exactly like ripped out of Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh yeah, you see that? Yeah, right over here. Yeah. And he has this like grappling weapon here, and it's real good because he's gonna just grapple this guy and then bring him down. Like get over here, bitch. Yeah, like Scorpion over here.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
a scorpion right there.
yeah. Okay. And then so the last part of the trailer we didn't really get to here. So let's look at some of what's happening here. Hmm. And you
I
can.
do. Oh,
Oh, oh,
sorry.
oh no, you go ahead.
I was gonna say I see this as a bit of a almost a response to Ghost of Tsushima in some ways. And I've read some Japanese game developers specifically say this right after Ghost of Tsushima came out. But Ghost of Tsushima was an American game studio, and it was a lot of. I read people say that it's like considered to be maybe the most culturally accurate like piece of media that America has made about Japan. And a lot of Japanese game developers saw it and were like, why aren't we making anything set here? And so there's been a few games that I've seen footage for now. This is one of probably 3 or 4 different ones I've seen that almost seem to be like a response to the success of Ghost of Tsushima specifically.
Yeah. And it's coming out pretty soon, March 22nd.
Yeah.
This year it's coming out. And it seems like so at the end, seems like so Ronin, you'll probably correct me on this. Ronin are basically like samurai who are like for hire, basically, kind of like mercenary kind.
Yeah, they can be mercenaries or they could just be wanderers. It's basically the requirement just means that they have no master that they are report to or take guidance or command from.
Okay. So you have this. So it looks like you're maybe going to join up with like a gang here and kind of partner with them. You also saw in the trailer there's like finishing moves here, like so you'll probably have those finishing kind of scenes there where you can hit a button, then they'll instantly kill a person, like you have that in tons of games. God of War, for instance, like you had that in. Um, Combat looks good. Um, the look of the game looks good. I'm not too blown away by it, but it looks good. What do you think about the look of it?
I think environments, the character models, I think it all looks, I think, very good. The only thing is, I think the faces just look a little, and it might just be their art style. It might just be that they're going for a little more of a cartoony thing, which is fine because I think their last game, Wo Long, also has that same kind of style to it. So I think that might just be a stylistic choice.
So
To
you-
have them have a little bit, yeah, it's a little more of a cartoony anime face rather
Okay.
than like a very realistic looking thing. And so that might be part of the reason why it doesn't look as graphically impressive. But other than that, I think the environments and like the clothes and stuff, and I think that all looks certainly not going to be winning like best visuals of the year or anything like that. But I think good, still. Definitely good.
And how's it going there, Marley? Marley Lewis Film. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by, man. Very much appreciated. Yeah, very good there. So yeah, March 22nd. So are you gonna be pre-ordering? Oh, you say you don't pre-order. You just wait for the game.
I try not to. It's got to be a series I'm like really, really, really into. Something like Black Myth Wukong. I guess that's not a pre-existing series, but that's one where I think I might. But I try not to. I feel like I don't like it as a business practice. I feel like you're giving someone money for a job they haven't done. I don't know.
And let me pull up the trailer for Wolong. You said Warlong is
It's Wo Long Fallen Dynasty, which is it's a Chinese mythology game. It's based on God, is it the book? I think it's the Three Kingdoms. I think
Oh,
it's
these-
I think it's just called the Three Kingdoms. But
so Team Ninja also did Noah, and I heard Noah's really amazing. I haven't-
yeah, those so they have a pattern of kind of they take something that's been done pretty well or is pretty popular and they'll do their own spin on it. So like there's two Neo games and those are basically their take on Dark Souls. And then
Okay.
Wo Long Fallen Dynasty is kind of like their take on Sekiro. And then Rise of the Ronin looks like it's their take on Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay, so it's Neo, not Noah. Okay, Neo. Sorry about that. Yeah. So this is Wolong Fallen Dynasty here. Okay.
And as soon as we beat Elden Ring on my Saturday Rapid Respawn show, this is actually going to be our next game that we play. It's got that same kind of 2 to 3 player online multiplayer kind of thing that Dark Souls does.
So with Neo, was it comparable to something like Dark Souls, or as far as
I've actually
quality?
heard from the people that played it that it was way harder in terms of gameplay systems and like inventory management and how you move around the world. It's super comparable, very, very, very similar. But then I kept hearing from people that it's even harder. I actually haven't played those myself.
Yeah.
I heard kind of all like okay things about the first one, and then like raving good things about the second one.
Okay. And this is the second one right here. Oh, okay. So it seems more like a Ninja Gaiden plus Dark Souls type thing. Looks with the action.
Yeah, it's maybe a bit faster, although that could just be the trailer editing it to look that way because some of the like Elden Ring trailers also make that game look a lot faster.
Okay. Looks insane though. Looks pretty insane. Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
they've got a pretty good art design, I think, across all their games.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Marley Stone said might play the first Death Stranding tonight. Yeah, I would watch that if you stream on Twitch there.
Hey, there you go.
Marley. I would love to watch you play that there. I don't know if Death Stranding is my cup of tea, but I appreciate the innovative, original IP, going out there and doing something, not just a remaster, remake, sequel. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the vision.
It's basically a whole new genre. I mean, and that's the second time he's done that. Because as far as I know, I don't think there was any such thing as a stealth game before the first Metal Gear, like the 8-bit first Metal Gear on like the Super Nintendo.
All right, gonna be moving on here to Judas. Judas, got their own trailer here. So with this Judas trailer, so Judas is the next game from Ken Levine here, the creator of BioShock. People know BioShock, the famous video game franchise series. Movie of also that's coming supposedly pretty soon. Supposedly.
Does it have anyone attached to it, or is it just kind of being talked about?
I think there's been different names that people been. You know how like these things are. You know, it's like with
Right.
the like Akira movie. It's like then it's Jordan Peele. Then it's like oh no, it's not Jordan Peele. Then it's like all kinds of different names kind of
What?
attached to it. Yeah. So and you see the trailer. Supposedly it resembles a lot of his work. So we've been giving this a look. Let me pull up the trailer for Judas here. All right, let's get this playing.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Say hi back. Of course they know. What if I told you that every word you say is being recorded?
That's kind of like real life, and every word you say is being recorded. Alexa,
Yeah,
your
no,
phone.
that's not even sci-fi at this point.
Yeah.
Fear. Their hate. We're just planted in your brain like weeds in a garden. What would you do to free yourself? We both know the answer to that question. Nothing. You are the frog in a pot, boiling so slowly. You don't even know what's happening. But I'm here to set you free, whether you like it or not.
Nice music drop. Very nice.
Yeah,
Oh
the
yeah,
first teaser for this a couple years ago had a great music choice in it as well.
and with that, definitely you can see very Bioshock right here. Oh yeah, that whole there. Definitely see that influence.
You've also got the gun in one hand and then like a power hand on the other.
Definitely see that influence. Hmm. What do you think Bioshock? I mean, what do you think? Kind of because I think it kind of went off the rails, and then like with Bioshock Infinite, kind of.
Bioshock 1, I think, is generally really, really well regarded all around. Bioshock 2, I think, is terrible. And then I think Infinite was a bounce back.
Okay, so two is the terrible one with Bioshock.
Yeah, 2, I think, is really weak. 2 was a completely different team as well. It was 2K Games was just like, hey, Bioshock made money. Let's get another one going. And the team was like, but we told like the whole story that we wanted to tell about that city in that setting. And so, but they wanted more. And then Infinite, I really like Infinite. I think that's also a pretty great game. It's maybe not the most fun game in terms of subject matter to actually like sit through and see, but I think it's really good and interesting.
And that was the last Bioshock game, right? Bioshock Infinite.
Yeah, they did do DLC for it, which almost felt like a third game called Burial at Sea. That it kind of tied the story of the first one and this one together a little bit in an interesting way, and kind of that I'd almost say is like a trilogy if you count that DLC, because that was like a solid like 6 to 8 hour thing by itself.
Mm.
And there's Troy Baker again too.
Yeah. Ah man, he got a good agent, man. He's working. He's got.
Oh yeah, I think Bioshock and The Last of Us. I want to say it was either the same year, or they were like 1 year and then the other back to back.
Yeah. With this Judas video game, so it's no release date for it, as I see. It just said you can add it to your wish list now. If you could do that. But that's it. So what do you get from this Judas trailer? What do you get?
Well, the main thing. Well, so there was also a teaser like 2 years ago at the Game Awards, and that also it didn't have a lot, but combining the two together, the main character we're playing as did something, caused some disaster, or is responsible for some sort of catastrophe. Whatever that is specifically is kind of hard to say, but the tagline at the end of the trailer is "Fix what you broke," and she's talking about how people think I deserve all this, and they're right. And so there's something. I don't know if it's like a big like civilization disaster or what. It also seems to be more it seems like something fully set in space, which I think is really cool too. Because before Bioshock, there was System Shock, which was like a fully set on a space station, evil AI, um, kind of running the ship and like turning people into these like messed up zombie monster things with machine parts. And so to see him go back to kind of a space setting is cool because it kind of feels like, hey, System Shock was like the precursor to Bioshock. Let's take everything we learned from Bioshock and then apply it to that kind of setting again.
Yeah. And it seems like here, like you see with her hand, like it's almost like you're part machine here, kind of.
Yeah, you see her like open the like a lid on the front of the hand and then throw something in like it's a furnace, which I thought that's a really cool little visual effect there.
Yeah. One guy just gets thrown out in space. Like, yeah. So yeah,
Yeah, I basically I'm kind of thinking of it as the next Bioshock game, even though I don't know if he necessarily the creator is hoping for people to do that or not. But I think it shares a lot of the basics that you got your gun, you got your power hand, you cycling through different powers, you got some sort of weird, probably authoritarian, philosophically driven government in whatever location that you're at, based on these leader characters that we're seeing in the background. It feels like a big extension of that, and yeah, I mean those games have been really important, I think, to the industry. I mean, Dead Space started as a System Shock sequel before it became Dead Space. It's had a ton of influence. GLaDOS from Portal was based on the AI from System Shock. Yeah, it's gone through name changes, but it's a series that's like, really really important to the industry.
yeah. And this is Ken Levine right here on the right here.
I have heard he can be very difficult to work with.
Mm, yeah. I don't know. I guess I kind of picked that up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of get that vibe a little bit there, but yeah. I don't know. Jeez, I'm excited for it. Looks good though. It does look good. Does look kind of like that Bioshock type style there, which is really nice. So we'll see there. All right. So we move on to our next trailer here. I got we could do, let's see, Silent Hill. I'll bring up the Silent Hill trailer. We could do that one. Since we're already kind of in a spooky mood here, we can
Yeah. Which Silent Hill? See,
do the remake, Silent Hill 2 remake trailer here. We'll do that one.
nice.
So yeah, let's pull this up. All right. So, Sage, you're a big fan of Silent Hill. Big
I
fan of
am.
series here, huh? What do you think about this remake trailer here?
I'm here for it. It's got a bit of a sorry, something fell off the shelf there. It's got a uh almost like almost an indie game feel to it in certain ways. I think this is an old build from like 5 months ago too, so it's not like the finished product version. There's a little jankiness to some of the animation, like the way he walks. I think you can tell is maybe not quite finished. And then some of the sound effects of the gun firing also
Damn, what
look
the hell is this? Just what the just legs on top of head, a level body here? That's it.
yeah. I mean it's a 20-year-old game at the 22-year-old game at this point. So I don't know how much I want to say because they are doing a remake, so I don't want to totally spoil it. But the creatures are there's like very specific things about the monsters that have to do with a specific character and the kind of inner trauma that they have in them. Every Silent Hill game is like that to some degree. Sometimes it's the protagonist that you play as, sometimes it's a different character. But the town is also, it's not just it's all happening in their head. It is a supernatural place that brings the things in people's minds into reality and makes them real. So like those nurses that you see in the trailer here, the big thing with this the second game is that the character's his wife died of this like horrible disease a couple of years ago. He receives a letter from her 3 years after she died, saying, "I'm in Silent Hill. Come meet me there." And it's very weird. It's almost kind of David Lynchy tone at times on purpose. Characters are they feel like there's like a mental fog on top of the literal fog in the environment. Everybody seems almost a little out of it, like they're not quite fully aware of themselves or what's going on. Like the strangeness of it doesn't get through to them, or they ignore it, or they react in weird ways. It's a really interesting, great, like kind of psychological. It's like a Resident Evil's like goth older sibling.
And these are the nurses that you mentioned here.
Yeah. So like this character. This is one I'll say outright because I think it doesn't spoil anything. It's a pretty simple explanation. But these nurse monsters, they've got quite hefty cleavage. They're wearing like fishnets on their legs, and they have super short like mini skirts, which it's very much like this guy's wife died of some horrible disease. He could not be intimate with her for a long time. He probably feels very guilty about the way that he looked at the nurses in the hospital while his wife was sick. So that's kind of manifesting there, which is, just for a brief aside, which is why in the movie when they just kind of throw monsters from the game around without really caring about like what the story is.
Yeah.
The movie's about like a little girl making monsters, and it's like, does this little girl really have these busty nurse monsters in her imagination? That doesn't really fit.
Kind of has more of like the candy striper type look to the nurses there. Is this game
Yeah.
set like in the past, or is it set more modern?
Yeah, it's kind of vague. The original game, Silent Hill 2, came out in 2001, and it's kind of vague on purpose. But I've seen people speculate that the actual like time period might be somewhere in the 70s that the game is taking place.
Hmm, okay. And it just says that Silent Hill 2's remake is supposed to come out this year. No real specific release date though. Just say
Yeah, that's interesting. I was kind of expecting to see one. I was surprised by that. They're the one of the people from the dev team actually recently said that the game is pretty much ready. Like there's a team working on polishing and kind of prettying it up a little bit still. And but pretty much their whole studio has moved on to making the next game entirely. But it's also a thing where Konami is the IP holder. They have hired this other studio to actually make the game. So Konami's in charge of the marketing, while this other Bloober team is actually making the game. So Bloober team have no say on when it comes out. Or I think they're trying to time it with a movie, because there is also going to be a movie that's supposed to come out this year that is also an adaptation of Silent Hill 2 that this game is a specific remake of. So I'm thinking they're trying to hold out and kind of cross promote as much as they can, because like I said, from what I understand, this game is basically finished.
yeah. So the movie is Return to Silent Hill. Is that it, or is it something else? No,
Yeah, it's a weird thing. They made 2 movies already, and the first movie was like a loose adaptation of the first game, and the second movie was a loose adaptation of the third game. So they skipped the second one when they were making those, and so the third movie will be I assume, a loose adaptation of the second game.
yeah. So this is Return to Silent Hill will be the newest one. And this is supposed to be like a reboot here, and it's directed by Christopher Gaines. Um,
Yeah, he did the first movie as well. That is the director that did that first one.
he did 2014 Beauty and the Beast. He
Ooh.
did was there, and then he also
Scarier than anything in Silent Hill.
he did Brotherhood of the Wolf, and then he also did Crying
Hmm.
Freeman. I haven't heard of any of these movies, but
No, the only one of those I've even actually seen is the first Silent Hill movie.
and this is the trailer for the first Silent Hill movie right here. I never seen this. I never seen the first. I never seen any of the Silent Hill movies myself.
As far as like all of the video game movies that have come out, especially in the early 2000s, it is okay compared to a lot of the other ones, it does manage to get a sense of like atmosphere down with the actual town, like the fog and just kind of the way it looks. There's an aesthetic that it gets right. Um, that's about it.
Okay. And who directed this
one of the
one?
only movies Sean Bean survives.
Oh wow. Oh, nice. And who directed this? 2006?
I believe this is the guy. This is Christopher Gans that is supposed to be directing that new one.
Oh, okay. So you can say he directed this, and and there was also a sequel called Silent Hill Revelation, and that was written by M.J. Bassett.
The first movie is cinematic masterpiece compared to that second one.
Yeah. Silent Hill Revelation. Let me see if I can pull up the trailer for this. And this came out in 2012. And it followed the trend of a lot of horror movies in the 2010s of like got to put it in 3D. Every horror movie's got to be 3D.
Yep.
Friday the 13th 3D, Piranha 3D, My Bloody Valentine 3D. Like all these horror movies had to be 3D back then. Yeah. So this is the trailer for this one. So who's supposed to be this little girl? Who's supposed to be that?
So, okay, so the way the game is the first game is it's a little less of like a deep psychological dive into one character. The first game is you're playing as this guy, get in a car crash, you're looking for your kid, and there is a little girl who was like this cult tried to sacrifice to bring this like god back to life. And she's like burned and scarred, and so all the monsters in the first game are manifestations of this little girl's psyche. In the movie, they changed things around, and the little girl was like a devil, and the cult were like the good guys. It was very weird. And then this is it's trying to be an adaptation of the third game. In the third game, you play as the daughter from the first one that's all grown up, and she's like this whole thing where the little girl that was causing everything going on, and then the daughter are like,
Jeez. Sage just went out there for a second.
am
Yeah.
I back?
Yeah, you're back now.
Okay. Yeah, it's like these two girls, they're like the same soul split in half, and then in the third game, the cult is like trying to get her and drag her back to the town to try this resurrection again. The movie was a fever dream. It's so weird, and I mean, you see Pyramid Head in there, right? It's this like
Yeah.
iconic monster from the series, and that's exactly what I was talking about before. Pyramid is specifically a piece of the James character from 2's mind, and so they put Pyramid Head in both of these movies, and it's like doesn't fit the context or the story of anything going.
Yeah. It's got some. I mean, it's got some talent. He's got Kit Harington, Jon Snow. This was Jon Snow before Jon Snow, man.
He knew nothing when he signed up to be in that movie.
It's also got. I'm trying to let's see here. Sean Bean is also in this. Carrie Ann Moss is also in this. Malcolm McDowell is in this. Well, Malcolm McDowell, he'll do anything. Malcolm McDowell.
He will do anything.
If I did a movie, Malcolm McDowell would fucking show up for it. For a bagel and a
let's-
Starbucks coffee.
Yeah, let's get him in here. He'd probably come do a review for you.
Yeah. So yeah, that's got some main talent here, and then Adela Clemens is also in this.
That must be the main one
yeah.
actress in there.
Yeah, she's the
Yeah,
main.
that first one's okay. It's all right. It does get some elements right. Really gets other parts wrong. That second movie is gibberish from beginning to end. It is so bad. I mean, if you have some friends and a couple of beers, it might be a lot of fun to watch, but it is not good.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on to another trailer here. We did Silent Hill, and there was also that Silent Hill game that dropped today, the Silent Hill short message that people can play
Mhm.
that we mentioned before, but that's already out there, so no need to really play that trailer, I don't think. Let's see here. I'll let you choose. We can go up next. Stellar Blade Deep Dive. We can do a trailer for that one. Dragon's Dogma 2. We can do also V Rising. We could do that one. There's Dave the Diver, but that's also it's coming to PlayStation, but that's just the big because it has Godzilla in it. That's about it. Godzilla show.
Yeah, that was a very, very big kind of indie game darling from 2023. But it is a game that's out there. I think it's on PC, might even be on Xbox already. So it's very much something people have already got to experience. It's just coming to a new console.
Mr. Plinkett right here, he's playing. They have him showing up here. Yeah, Dave the Diver. I haven't played this. I hear it's indie darling, like you said. Have you ever played it?
I have not. I probably will give it a shot when it comes out for the PlayStation. No.
Okay. Where can you play it? It's just on like Windows right now, or
Yeah, for sure on Steam. It may be on Xbox already, but I'm not positive.
okay. All right. So yeah, this is the big announcement.
Godzilla's showing up everywhere these days.
Yeah, Godzilla's making a comeback. Everybody wants to Godzilla, and it's a new kind of I don't know molten lava type of Godzilla. Kind of looks like.
I'm sure they could make a new branch of toys out of that.
Yeah, you do that. Yeah, lava Godzilla. So do that. So that's pretty much the only thing with that one. There's Zone Zero, Zenless Zone Zero here. Metroid Awakening. Metroid Awakening.
That one
this-
could be interesting. I like the Metro series. This one's a VR game specifically, whereas the rest of them have just been kind of normal for first-person shooters. But it certainly looks like it has some potential here. The setting of the series is cool. It's actually based on a series of Russian books, Russian like sci-fi novels. It's post-apocalypse. World's been destroyed in like a nuclear annihilation.
Okay. What is the Metroid series about?
Yeah, well, so everybody's living literally in like the metro and like the underground subway system. This is where all of civilization is, right? Now the surface world has been annihilated with nuclear weaponry. So you got your radioactive monsters. You got some Fallout-esque things going on here, right? Your Wasteland or your Mad Max style stuff. But the fact that all of the remaining human civilization has kind of recreated itself in these subway tunnels is kind of the interesting thing. So you have like different stations are like cities, and you've got different governments in charge of each of them. There's like the red block, which is like the communists. There's like a Reich area that's filled with Nazis that you have to infiltrate at one point. You've got like this like culture zone, which is like where all the artists and scientists are. And then there's like all these mutants and stuff in between. So it's like a VR take on that series.
Okay. All right. So it's like kind of like a reboot in a sense, kind of a remake.
I don't know if it's a reboot or it could even be one of the games that already exists, but in VR form, or it might be a new thing altogether. I know they have there's 3 already, and there is a 4th. There's a a third sequel in the works at the moment. So I don't think they're restarting, just branching out, I guess, a little bit.
Okay. And this is coming out. No specific release date. Just says 2024 on VR. I don't have VR, so
I don't either.
It's just not worth the investment. I don't think yet. For me.
No, it's like the price of an entire console, and yeah, there's just not enough games on it for it to make sense.
Graphics look good though. It looks good. And I like kind of that, but I was like, I don't know. I don't know about VR just yet. And when it gets to like Ready Player One, call me then. I'll get in.
Yeah, I heard it could only be a few years away.
Yeah. So also here we got Legendary Tales, which is also another VR game. I don't know if you've heard about that one.
Yeah, I think I saw it. Was it the medieval one?
Yeah, it was kind of like the medieval. I'll pull it up real here. I can pull it up real quick. It's another VR game. Protect the maidens. You can do here. Let's see. Yeah, this is it right here.
Yeah, that one's definitely a little on the jankier side. A little more. I mean, maybe not bad. I don't want to say bad, but gimmicky. A little more gimmicky. What I would expect from a lot of the VR stuff I see.
It looks like you can join up with other people, like a squad.
That could be fun.
You and the other person that spent all that money on a VR system. Okay. Looks kind of you can weld weapons there.
I'm sure it's if someone wanted to buy one for me, I would play it.
Hey, hey, there you go. Get Sage a VR system, and he'll pick up Legendary Tales there.
I'll come review VR games if somebody wants to take care of the price for me.
There's also a new Foam Stars trailer. Foam Stars. I don't even know. Let's see what this is.
It's you know the Nintendo game Splatoon.
Yeah. So
It's that, but replace the squids with douchebags.
oh, okay. Interesting. All right. Splatoon looks fun. I never played Splatoon, but it looks kind of fun.
It's basically just you just spray your colored foam across the environment. It's like a non-violent shooter game where
Yeah.
it's like whoever covers more ground
You spray your
wins at the
jizz,
end.
and then whoever covers the area with most jizz wins there.
Genghis Khan will always win that competition.
Yeah. So it's like a fake ass Splatoon, basically.
Yeah, it's totally just this is part of Sony's initiative to, and they're kind of giving up on this actually. So I wonder how many of these games are actually going to see a full release. This one will because it's very soon that it's coming out. But
Yeah. And
they kind of announced a whole block of live service multiplayer, microtransaction games, that kind of free to play model back in was it kind of early 23, I want to say. And they did it right as the live service model was really starting to kind of die in the industry. Like you got your Fortnite that's super successful. You might have one or two others that do really well, but there's been so many of these live service games that have come out and flopped. They picked a really bad time to start trying to pump more of them.
yeah, and they say it's coming out next week, so it's coming out next week of this year. So yeah. Yeah, Foam Stars there, and then there's Hell Divers. Trailer. Have you seen the trailer for this?
Yeah, I have.
Thoughts on this one?
It looks all right. It's not one I'm super interested in myself. It looks like it kind of just looks like another sci-fi shooter to me, another team-based online shooter. There may be something I'm missing or I'm not aware of. I mean, graphically it looks nice. You got almost a Starship Troopers thing going on with the bug aliens. In some previous trailers, it did have a little bit of the kind of snarky comedy kind of riff on like the authoritarian government that is in Starship Troopers. So it's almost a little bit of a play on that. But I don't know if there's quite enough here that makes me want to play it. It just kind of looks like another shooter.
Yeah, kind of looks like what's that game where it's kind of people in those big kind of bulky outfits, and they fire kind of the big. I know that's probably not Pacific, but it was a PlayStation game also.
Think it recent or
It
a
was kind.
while ago?
It was a little while ago. It was a game maybe in the 2010s.
Lost Planet?
Not Lost Planet. It was something like Wolfenstein, but not Wolfenstein. It was like kind of a sci-fi game. Damn, it's kind of on the tip of my tongue, but it's not. Killzone. Killzone. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, yeah, I can totally see similarities there, especially the armor on the characters. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what that. Yeah, that was. Man, I'm glad I got that. That was gonna kill me. But yes, and this is Killzone right here. Yeah, 2005. Okay, this.
Yeah, I think the last Killzone game to come out was I want to say it was Killzone Shadowfall, which came out as a launch title for the PlayStation 4 in like November 2013.
Yeah, man, I can't believe it came out this long ago. Yeah, I'm thinking like I'm said 2010. Like, yeah, this is over 2 decades ago almost now. Gee. But yeah. So anything else that you want to talk about with the
No, we covered all the ones I was really interested in.
yeah. So yeah, that's basically pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much all the really trailers there for State of Play. So State of Play, you think thumbs up, thumbs down?
I think this was a good one. Honestly, the State of Plays are usually only like 20 minutes. This was twice that. Not every game was the most interesting thing in the world to me, but that's fine. I always say with these showcases, it's trying to service a wide variety of the audience, right? Of audiences for different types of games, and I think they had a good variety of things. And a lot of it did appeal to me, quite a bit. Oh, there's the Sonic one too. A
Yeah.
lot of this did appeal to me though overall, and I do think it was a pretty good show. They labeled it as a state of play, which is they consider that their smaller show, and then when it says showcase, that means it's like here's going to be a God of War or a Spider-Man, like a really big first
Oh,
party game.
oh,
But this state of play to me, it felt more like a showcase because I thought there was so much here.
hmm. Yeah, seems like you're getting back into the bag of like Sonic stuff here, and plus Hedgehog. I don't know about the Sonic lore or the Sonic world, so I don't know that.
He's the edgy one.
Yeah, so
That's
he's the
that's
edge.
yeah, he's the if Sonic was going to be a school shooter, that'd be him.
Yeah, so he's like Spider-Man when he puts on the Venom. He gets with the Venom symbiote, basically. That's what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I yeah, I feel like he's got a backstory, but I don't know what it is.
um,
I
I
just,
don't know.
I just know that there's a standalone game for that character, and has an AK-47, and there's like screamo metal playing in the background, and it's not great.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I guess my only criticism state of play is like no real Pacific release dates. A lot of just like, hey, it's coming out 2024 and or 2025.
Yeah,
Stuff.
it is a lot of like at some point this is coming kind of stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that. So that's my only real criticism. Other than that, I think it's all right. I mean, you had some good ones. I think the big one here, out of all these games, Rise of the Ronin is the only one I'm really super interested in probably playing. And I am interested in the Kojima going back to the action spy espionage type stuff there. That sounds very interesting. To see like him saying I'm going to transcend film and games, so he can talk a lot of shit. That's for sure. Kojima
Yeah.
can talk a lot of shit, so he's good at that. Yeah, I mean that's basically it there. There was also the Stellar Blade trailer here. Um,
Yeah, there are a lot of people that seem to be pretty excited about this one. Yeah, I don't know if it's doing anything for me yet, but if the reviews are really good, then I might check it out. It strikes me as a little this trailer, this one's a little slower, more story heavy, more gameplay system heavy, not as much combat, but they showed a trailer for it last year at one of these shows, and it was like pure combat nonstop, every shot the whole time. And it gave me kind of Bayonetta vibes a little bit, where it was just fast paced and kind of crazy camera work and really fluid movement. So it's got potential, I would say.
yeah,
I'm getting maybe a little generic anime world vibes from some of it, but it could be good.
yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking Bayonetta here, and then I don't know. Some of the animation looks different amongst the characters. Like the guy looks more realistic as opposed to the women.
He
uh,
does, yeah.
who looks
He's
more.
got a lot more like flaws in his face that you can kind of discern, whereas it just seems to just be all the female characters are like completely smooth face.
Yeah, real anime. Yeah, like yeah, with a lot of the women here.
Which if you want to do that, that's fine, but maybe the guy should have a smooth face too. I don't know.
Yeah, equality.
Even it
Yes,
out.
yeah,
Yeah.
Sage says equality, man.
Make him pretty too.
Yeah. Yeah. Bayonetta. I'm getting much more of the Bayonetta type vibes here. So this is more of like a story trailer that you see here.
Yeah, definitely more of a story trailer. There's some other trailers for this game that are just like nonstop combat stuff.
Okay. Well, this gets into a little bit of combat right here. Let me go back to it. I don't think it doesn't look as fluid as something like Bayonetta. Maybe.
No, and I mean, to be fair, Platinum Bayonetta was made by drawing a blank on the name, but Bayonetta is done by the same guy that did Devil May Cry, right? Devil May Cry 1 and 3 in particular. So he's got that level of skill to polish those action games kind of to a finished shine that very few other studios or creators are able to pull off.
Mm, yeah. And this is a little bit more of the gameplay that you see right here. Okay. This looks a little bit better than in the trailer, I think. Mm, okay. So what is the story of this? Like
Uh, from what I can tell, it seems like it's kind of a post-apocalyptic thing, some sort of I'm not sure if they're aliens or from another dimension, but some sort of species of monster has like infested the earth and taken over most of the world. And you seem to be kind of an obligatory anime hero going out to the wasteland fighting the monster.
Okay. And does this come out also this year or
Yeah, I think that is one of the ones that did get a release, and I think it's April.
You are
something.
correct. April 26th
Okay.
this year. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the story. So in the near future, humanity is driven from the Earth after losing a war against alien invaders called the Tiba. To reclaim the Earth, the protagonist Eve and her squad are deployed from the colony to fight the Natiba and take back Earth. Eventually, Eve must survive. Eve meets a survivor named Adam, who leads her to Zion, the last surviving human city on Earth. Um,
They're not going to that underground city in the Matrix, are they?
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, what was the underground city in the Matrix called? What was that? Zion, wasn't that called? Yeah,
Yeah,
Zion.
Zion. Yeah.
Eve then makes contact with the Elder Oracle and establishes a relationship with the residents of Zion in order to further her mission to save Earth. Okay.
Elder and the Oracle. That's starting to sound like the Matrix to me.
I guess the creator must have watched the Matrix last night. He must have before writing the script. He's like, "Damn, I got a good idea for a movie." Fell asleep watching with the Matrix on, and it's like, "I got a great idea." But yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's good, hack and slash type thing. I might pick it up. I like hack and slash type thing. I love Devil May Cry.
Yeah, I love the genre. I'm super into those. So fingers crossed, it's a surprise like sleeper hit or something like that.
Yeah, very cool. All right. So, when we get into this review, that was our state of play discussion there.